Good morning and welcome. Happy Monday, Patriot Radio News Hour. The furnace known as the Valley of the Sun, the Deer Valley Air Park, the hole in the ceiling studios. That's where we broadcast out of, June the 25th. We're almost halfway through the year already, and man, crazy times we live in. If you're just waking up, the Dow is gone to the woodshed, taking a massive beating right now, down 400 and almost 450 points. The NASDAQ even worse. The NASDAQ's down about 200 points, but percentage-wise, even worse than the Dow. The S&P's down 50. Trade wars heating up all over the place. We had some more data pointing to things are not as good as maybe they appeared to be a few short weeks ago. This time, the Chicago Manufacturing Index went negative, caught everybody off guard. We did have new home sales after the big disappointment in existing home sales. We'll get to that and a few other things. Ron Paul today, I'm going to talk a lot. He had a great editorial, if you will. We're going to break it down and just really plainly speaking about the lies and the manipulation, and somehow we're all falling for it. All of that and so much more coming up on the show today. The website at allamericangold.com. And I'll tell you right now, I'm upset. I am, yeah. And it's all your fault. It is. It's summertime, and summer's always our slowest month of the year are always June and July, and this year has not disappointed. It's been a horribly slow June, and so I played a lot more golf lately. And when you kind of, I'll use the weightlifting example where you're working out and you're getting stronger, and then you plateau, and then you make a big jump up, and then you plateau and jump. Well, I made a big jump this weekend in my game. I mean, to the point where, I'm feeling pretty good about it. And I played on Tuesday, I played on Thursday, and I got a call on Saturday. And I said, hey, I'll be there. I'll play. And, it's 1,000 degrees outside. And I don't know that Saturday was any hotter than Thursday or Tuesday, but I think my body was just like, really? Again? And I almost gave myself a heat stroke. Yeah, and it's all your fault. I was telling Ramon about it, and Ramon was reminding me about Oral Roberts. and not that I'm Oral Roberts, but I actually had to look it up just to make sure. Oral Roberts in the 80s told his audience, his listeners, his customers, his flock, his congregation, his followers, whatever word you want to use, that he needed to raise $8 million or God was going to take him home. And it was I think it was for a hospital. But he did it. Right, Oral Roberts was able to do it. So today, I'm going to try to not $8 million. Why not $8 million? No, I'm not doing that. I don't want to go home yet. It's not time. But I'm going to put something together today that will hopefully motivate you to start getting serious about what's really happening and make sure that you two are getting prepared. As you think about some of the stuff that came out. The Trump spokesperson who got thrown out of a restaurant. Right, people can't even. Maxine Waters telling people to attack Republicans in public and all. It's crazy, right? The whole border situation. People acting like this is something brand new. Right, that's the part that gets me the most. Right, it's like, hey, this was going on during the Democrats too, right? I think today, actually, believe it or not, the best answer finally came. It really did. It's the one that makes the most sense, and it's one that probably stops all the nonsense. The second you get caught, you get deported, period. We don't need a trial. We don't need any. You know what? You're here illegally. Out you go. and then let's come up with a better system. But that would make too much sense. Nobody wants that. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, right? You got to follow the money. But all of these things running through my head today, and yes, it's true. I will be golfing less. It was bad. I don't know. Well, all of a sudden, it just like about the 15th hole started melting out on the course. And matter of fact, the whole group, all four of us were. It was not fun. Let's just say that yesterday I had to relax, and rehydrate, and of course the wife and the kids wanted to do something. So last night we went to the bowling. There was a group on for bowling. We went bowling, and I blame it again because I finished dead last. Yeah, thanks a lot. 800-951-0592. You got to help me from myself. Keep me busier. That way I'll be able to be out here longer, and I won't have to get my butt whooped playing any type of thing that requires any sort of athleticism. It was pretty humbling. My wife's a better bowler. She is the best bowler. But now our oldest son may have taken the throne. He throws the ball extremely hard, which makes the pin seemingly fall down out of fear. And needless to say, let's just say that gutter ball and me happen to go together. It's got to get better, right? So we got a great show lined up for you. We're going to talk a lot about what Ron Paul had to say and how it relates, and then we'll keep our eye on the bashing that is the stock market when we return. 800-951-0592. I need you to save me from myself.
Please. Save him.
What is like, please? He needs to work. He'll go out there and I don't know what happened. It was bad. It really was.
Did you sweat off some weight?
I don't know. I still feel fat.
I've
lost some weight. There's no doubt, but I'm
you
still.
Have. You have.
And you know what? It's not like I'm out there drinking a 12-pack.
Oh,
I was out there. I have water and Gatorade. I mean, I'm trying not to die.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
So I need your help. We need to get busier. So here's what we decided. Wendy and I were going back and forth, and this is what we came up with.
It's good. I like it.
It's better than good.
It really is.
Right, it really is. So $20 Liberty gold pieces, $20 St. Gaudens gold pieces. They're both $1,310, okay? Right? Which, gold's at $1,268 and change. $1,310 is pretty cheap.
Yeah, it is.
Every one of those that you buy, and you can buy Saints, you can buy Libs, you can buy Mix, you can get a Silver Eagle for $1.
That's correct. Now, they are back dates.
Yep.
I have back date only.
Both places. We have them in Colorado. We got them here.
Right. For $1.
For $1.
$1.
All right. There is a limit. 20. That way, you can get an entire roll of U.S. silver. You buy $20 gold pieces any way you want. Saints, Libs, Mix. You can get 20 Silver Eagles or a roll of U.S. Silver Eagles for $20.
Right, but if you buy 20.
And if you buy, that's right, I forgot. If you buy 20, this was Wendy's part. If you buy 20, $1,300 on the 20s.
On the 20.
So $26,000, and you get a roll of Silver Eagles for $20.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
Yeah. Otherwise, 1310, 1 through 19, 1310. If you buy 10, right, you're going to throw in an extra $10, and you'll get 10 ounces of silver. You buy one, throw in an extra buck, right, for $1,311, you get a 20 and an ounce of silver.
This is good.
So 800-951-0592. This is to keep me busy. I'm going to do all week. We're going to do great stuff all week, but you got to keep me busy. You got to save me from myself.
Please call now. Okay.
There you go, 800-951-0592. So Ron Paul He was never a great speaker. I mean, if he was, it wouldn't have mattered, right? They weren't going to let him win anyway. But he was never a great speaker. But, man, was he the smartest guy in the room. And he writes really well. And he wrote The Dollar Dilemma. Where to from here? Okay? So where are we going from here? It is a fallacy to believe the U.S. has a free market economy. Boy, do we know that. Right? Go back to the .com. Go back to the financial crisis, and you can even read articles, newspaper articles, all Fed saves the day and all this stuff, right? And people riding to the rescue. It is the most manipulated market now in the world. I mean, gold's a great example. I mean, gold the last 2 weeks, it's completely manipulation. It makes no sense. Everyone's scratching their head saying, well, what's happening? And of course, they don't want you to know. But that only lasts for a little while. The economy is run by a conglomerate of individuals, special interest in and out of government, including the deep state, which controls central economic planning. Doesn't sound like free markets at all, does it? Rigging the economy is required to prevent market forces from demanding a halt to the mistakes of the planners that they continually make. And I always say that to and I think to myself all the why don't we hold them accountable? They make these mistakes over and over and over. It makes no sense, right? What's the expression? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? That's the definition of insanity. And yet, this is what we do. The deceptive policy can only last for a limited time. Ultimately, the market proves more powerful than the manipulation of economic events. The longer the process lasts, in other words, the better they are at the manipulation, the bigger the bubble that bursts. Now, really, think about it. I mean, pull your head out of your backside for just a minute. Right? We went off the gold standard in 1971. Right? That's when we went full fiat. We were partial fiat before that time. We had, and I'm just going to bring up some big ones, like the 87 crash, right? And then the dot-com bubble, and then the financial crisis, the housing market / financial crisis, because that's all one thing. And every time, what's the one thing that's consistent? The bubble that burst was bigger. And of course, I've been telling you this one's the big one, right? I'm hopeful that this one, I don't want it to happen, but we know it's going to. All of us do, right? As a matter of fact, the people that, when you order and don't order, it's so funny because you want to wait till now it's happening now. I'm gonna get ready now, right? Instead of doing the smart thing is would you get ready before it happens? But we all know this. We all know it's going to happen. The big question is when, right? When is it going to happen? And everybody you talk to has got a different opinion. Here's what I know. We've got less than 10 years. I don't think we make it, 2020-ish when it starts to fall apart. But the next 10 years are going to be brutal. I guarantee it. And not because of fear or scaring or anything. It's just math. So Ron Paul saying the longer the process lasts, the greater the bubble that always bursts. The planners in charge have many tools, right? We think about the Federal Reserve and their toolkit, and they seemingly just invent them to perpetuate many tools to perpetuate confidence in an unstable system. But common sense should tell us that grave dangers lie ahead. Makes sense, right? We know the story. It happens over and over and over again. Their policies strive to convince the unknowing, and the unknowing is us, that the dollar is strong and its status as the world's reserve currency is secure no matter how many new dollars they create out of thin air. Listen, we know that can't continue. Listen, it's already under attack. Matter of fact, the seeds have been sown already as far as the dollar's reserve currency dominance. I can just tell you in the last week, India and Russia signed a deal to trade arms in something other than dollars, right? Never been done before. Been done now, right? You think about, Iran and China and all of these other countries. It's happening every day, and it happens more and more. It is claimed that our foreign debt is always someone else's fault, right? Remember Ben Bernanke? Well, wasn't our fault. We're just trying to fix it. We're just trying to fix the problem. Somebody else created it. I don't know who it was, but it was that guy. It's never related to our own monetary or economic mismanagement. Right? When's the last time you heard a central banker come out and say, you know what, we made a mistake? Doesn't happen. Never happens. Official government reports, and this is one of my favorite ones, inevitably claim inflation is low and we must work harder to increase it. Right? This is what for 10 years they've been telling us. If we could just get inflation higher. Somehow claiming that price increases mystically indicates economic growth. One of the things about the second quarter number, which now probably not going to be 4% after the bunch of the data points. Today, the biggest one, the Chicago index, fell into negative territory for June. So we're going to have a number, I think, north of 3. But think about what inflation, what really happened in the second quarter. Today, I'll give you Dallas Fed. Everybody's talking about how much more everything's costing, from steel to aluminum to fuel to transportation to wages, right? Everybody's talking about how much things are costing. And yet the Federal Reserve comes out and says there isn't any. Matter of fact, Jay Powell took it a step further. He even said, we're not going to overreact if it goes over. It's been over. Right? Even though they sit there and they're allowed to manipulate, and it's incredible. The Consumer Price Index, so back to Dr. Paul, the Consumer Price Index is the statistic manipulated to try to prove this point. And of course, Ron Paul knows. And he says everybody knows except the unknowing. And they use this to mislead on what the GDP numbers are, and they do the same essentially with all the numbers. Many people now recognizing these reports are nothing more than propaganda, and it's only going to get worse. It's like the jobs numbers. The unemployment rate, right? Economic theory says they can't be this low, and if they are this low, wage has got to be exploding. Well, it's a manipulated number. They just make it up. You do know that, right? Have you ever heard of anybody paying rent equivalent? No. But yet that's part of the CPI. This costs more. Well, let's take it out. Right? Anything that costs more, let's take it out and replace it with something that costs less. Anybody who pays the bills to maintain a household knows the truth about inflation. Think about it. I've been on it now because it's hurting. It is. I mean, you can absorb $100 a month increase 1 year. But now we're looking at $100 a month and just in healthcare every year on top of this increase and that increase. You know, at the end of the day, 3, 4, 5 years in a row of $300 and $400 a month increases, it doesn't add up. Patriot Radio News Hour, halftime on a Monday.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily broadcast from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, a national volunteer organization founded by Phyllis Schlafly and continuing to uphold her legacy by opposing radical feminism and representing a traditional conservative perspective in our nation's capital. And now, from the archives of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, here is Phyllis Schlafly.
Dangerous jobs tend to pay better, and they ought to. The workers are risking bodily harm, sometimes even death in these jobs, and we are grateful that some are willing to do this. The Department of Labor has done studies showing that less than 1% of the workers in these dangerous fields are women. Understandably, women are less likely than men to put their lives on the line in order to earn a paycheck. Women who have children may feel their first obligation is to their children. The occupation of roofing is a very dangerous job, but only about 0.5% of roofers are women. This means for every 500 roofers, only one is a female worker. Logging is the most dangerous job of all. It requires using machinery to chop down trees, often in bad weather, and then trimming and assembling the logs for transportation to refiners and paper mills. Logging jobs are open on an equal basis to men and women. Federal law prohibits any workplace discrimination against women, and the Equal Pay Act of 1963 ensures equal pay for equal work done by women. The average salary of a logger is nearly $15 an hour, which is better than the pay in other jobs like fast food or at Walmart. 10% of loggers make more than $52,000 a year, which lots more than receptionists make. But logging is hard, risky, and often unpleasant work. Less than 1% of loggers are women. It's not due to any discrimination that most women dislike those dangerous jobs. There were more than 4,500 workers who lost their lives on the job in the United States in 2015, and there's nothing unfair about men making more in those jobs than women make in safer jobs.
For more than 50 years, the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles has been mailed, broadcast, and posted online, allowing eager Americans to follow her traditional conservative perspective. We continue that legacy at phyllisschlafly.com, archiving the past, addressing today's key issues, and staying alert for the future. So bookmark phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
800-951-0592, U.S. $20 Liberties and St. Gaudens. You pick them. Every one you buy, they're $13.10 for every one that you buy. You can pick up a Silver Eagle for $1. So for $1,311, you'll get a 20 and a U.S. Silver Eagle. If you buy 20, and the limit is 20, you can't buy more than 20. So if you buy 20, we'll take it down instead of $1,311, you'll pay $1,301. So $1,300 for the 20s, still the dollar on the Silver Eagles. So if you bought 20 of them, you'd get a roll of Silver Eagles for $20 at 800-951-0592. Talking about Ron Paul in his latest article, talking about the Federal Reserve, government reports, the unknowing, the manipulation. Ever since the Great Depression, and remember, it's never their fault. I want you to know that, right? They blamed gold in the Great Depression, right? They blamed it so much they said if we just take it away. Think about what's happened to the dollar since then. Controlling the dollar price of gold and deciding who gets to hold gold was the official policy. This advanced the Federal Reserve's original goal of demonetizing precious metals, which was fully achieved in August of 1971. Today, even though the official position of all central banks is that gold is not money, central bankers constantly rig the dollar price of gold. And it's so obvious. Pretending the dollar is stronger than what it really is. Just as the market overrode the artificial price of $35 an ounce in the 70s, today's gold price will soar, and the dollar is dethroned as king of the world's currencies. It is a rigged financial system. And think about everything they took away from us. Took away pensions, right? Everyone now has got a 401k. You've got to be part of the rig, right? The banks go under now. You get the bail-in. Now they have the new rules in place that'll prevent you from getting to your money. Right? Let's not forget, all of these things have happened, in the last 30, 40 years. Right? First, it was, hey, let's get them in now. Now think about it. Any company over like 50 people, you have to have it. Have to have that 401k. You got to get them in it. Got to have it. Right? And it's rigged. Stock and bond prices are kept artificially high for the wealthy in Wall Street. To do this, interest rates have been kept well below market rates. And again, part of the trick of how they do that is tell us there's no inflation. Right? I mean, think about it for a minute. Which is a major contribution factor to gross economic distortions and financial bubbles. Right? Has this recovery been so, it's been how many years now? It's been horrible. It's been hard. It's been difficult. Think about how many people now work 2 and 3 jobs. The false belief setting the stage for an economic crash is the doctrine of deficits don't matter, right? We get that all the time. It doesn't matter. We can print 50 trillion, 100 trillion, 300 trillion. I don't even know what comes after 100 trillions. Quadrillions. Endorsed universally in the nation's capital And it's been going on for decades. Remember, and I keep telling you this is just a little experiment. Hasn't even been going on very long. 1971, and I keep going back, the deficit was $400 billion. And most of that was World War II stuff. You know, we know Jefferson paid off the debt. You know, we had the debt down to, I don't even know what it was. I want to say it was below $30 billion during the Great Depression. And now we sit at what? Who knows what the number is? We don't even really know. Right? But what we do know is it's growing by trillions of dollars every year. We are destined to soon find out that deficits do matter. And matter very, very much. Denying economic truth and denying common sense for long periods of time always ends badly. How many times have we talked about Economics 101? How many times did they say, hey, you know what? I know how to do math. Right? It's simple math even. I mean, this is math a third or a fourth grader can do. Denying economic truth. Right? Look at unemployment. Look how they can't come up with an answer. Look how they can't come up for an answer for wage growth, right? Not happening. Look how they can't come up with an answer for why more and more Americans are falling below the poverty line and having to work 2 and 3 jobs. They got no answer because they deny economic truth. They believe that they can just print money out of thin air and manipulate their way to a strong dollar. Doesn't work that way. Right? And I think that the best one, common sense. We all know you can't do that. You can go into debt for a while. Listen, we know. Listen, we do it in our own households. Right? Ask any small business. It doesn't even have to be a small business owner know better than everybody. Every household in America does it. Well, except a few that are so rich, I guess they don't have to. And you can do it for a while. But what ends up eventually happening? Can't pay my bills. I got to declare bankruptcy. Kind of what Ron Paul's saying. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. This was Ron Paul. What a great article. And really, giving you pause to think about what is real, what we're being lied to about, how big the lies are. And you can just see it today. Dow's down 400, Nasdaq's down 250, right? And gold's just sitting there. Come on. Every country in the world's buying gold, but somehow gold's not up. Remember the manipulation. Remember, it brings up a great point. The Fed never seems concerned. But then again, it has never warned of trouble ahead. Even when major corrections were right at our door. What was the biggest one that you can remember? I only got one. And it was Alan Greenspan. And he used the words irrational exuberance once in a speech. Almost, 18 months before the tech bubble blew up. Everyone misremembers history. Let's not go crazy. Alan Greenspan wasn't out there warning cats and dogs. Right? Irrational exuberance. That was it. That was the big warning. Remember Ben Bernanke? We didn't get any warning. Matter of fact, right before that, he was talking about raising rates. One of two things. It's either because the Federal Reserve doesn't know any better, or they simply don't want people to prepare because they're worried that if they did, it would be a panic. Right? Just think about what you could have done if you had known about the housing bubble, if we had known about the financial crisis, right? All that stuff. And really, I actually think there's a third thing, because I do think they know. And I do agree with Ron Paul. They don't want you to know. But it's not because of panic. It's because they know that their buddies are going to suffer if you prepare. The financial institutions would suffer. And, of course, they don't want, right? They're supposed to be the protector. Right? These banks, they don't go under when we're around. They only run under and out of business when we weren't around, right? That's what they want you to believe. One thing is for sure. The middle class of America is not much of a concern for money managers. What occupies their minds is how to protect Wall Street from any financial crisis that may arise. They're not protecting us. You think that, and his name, I just threw a blank. Jay Powell, you think Jay Powell cares about you? You think he cares about me? They don't. They want to pretend they do. They don't. The monetary elite are alert as to who will be blamed. And the Fed is, in particular, must be protected. And you think about it, they always talk about, we need to maintain our independence, even though we're a bunch of crackpots. They are nothing more than the destroyers of wealth. You want an example? I'll give you an example. I'll give you a bunch of examples. I'll give you an easy one. We're selling these $20 gold pieces today, $1,310. They were $20 100 years ago. 20. Now $1,310. Who did that? They are the destroyers of wealth. And believe me, they're destroying yours. You just don't know. You only realize about every 10 years. Right? That's when you all realize. Since 1987, it has been the responsibility of the plunge protection team. Right? And again, part of these tools, all the things, all the lengths that they go to try to hide the fact of what they're really doing. The President's Working Group on Financial Markets to protect Wall Street. And, of course, obviously, the bond market as well. And, of course, that's not free markets. It's not free markets at all. That's the government picking the winners and the losers. And I'll give you, Eric always used to say, if you're at a card game and you don't know who the patsy is, yeah, it's you. That's what the government loves. The unknowing. We don't even know that we're the patsies. There are 4 powerful agencies that secretly can do just about anything they care to do to protect the monetary elites. They are the Federal Reserve Bank, the U.S. Treasury Department, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. Let's see. We know about the Federal Reserve Bank, the Treasury Department. Where do you think all the new laws came from about there in the next crash, you not being able to have access to your money? right? Can't sell your money markets, can't get out of your 401k, can't sell your IRA, can't get to the sideline. That's all in the Security and Exchange Commission. And then, of course, we know about the Communities Futures, right? They're the ones that manipulate to keep gold prices from being where they should be, at least for a little while. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Ron Paul letting you know who they are. The Federal Reserve Bank, the U.S. Treasury Department, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Commodity Futures Trading Commissions, all in collusion. And we know this. This probably isn't new for most, but I think it's very important to remind. We're going to run, I don't know what the official number is going to be, somewhere close to $1 trillion deficit this year. Trillion. The best year we've had in a decade. Now, the real number is probably 1.6 trillion. And they're trying to pretend that somehow it doesn't matter. Again, trying to deny economic principles, trying to deny common sense. And what they've done is they've had to manipulate, and the degree of the manipulation just gets worse. Right? Think about all the calculations. They changed how they calculate GDP. They changed how they calculate inflation. They changed how they calculate unemployment. They've changed how they calculate wages. They just change it. And when you look at the changes, you always see it changes it the same way to make things appear better than what they actually are. Because they know that if you knew the truth that they've actually made things worse, we'd probably want to say, you know what, let's end this experiment because it's not working very well. But I love what Ron Paul says about gold. Remember, the government tried to keep the price $35. Right? Remember what happened? Lasted for a while. And then it exploded. And then, of course, they try to tell you gold isn't money. And that lasted for a while. Then it exploded. Now they're trying to tell you, hey, we fixed everything with our toolkit and our manipulation and the fact that we've got everybody rowing the boat in allegedly the same direction. It's going to be great. It'll work for a little while. But gold will explode again. U.S. $20 Liberties in Saints, 1 through 19 at $13.10. But here's the great deal. For every one you buy, you can add a Silver Eagle for $1. There is a limit of 20. If you buy 20, we'll take the price of the 20s to $1,300, and then you can add 20 Silver Eagles for a total of $20, so $1 an ounce for 20 of them. At 800-951-0592, try to shake off the summer doldrums. And I know, right? They're trying to tell you, oh, yeah, gold's not doing anything. Don't worry. It's all manipulated. Remember, it makes no sense. Well, may start making sense. Gold or Dow's down about 400 plus. Nasdaq's down a couple of hundred. Gold's just hanging out. 800-951-0592. Tomorrow we still got a lot more Ron Paul. Matter of fact, we'll probably do him most of the week. Don't touch that dial. Patriot Radio News Hour. See everybody tomorrow.